So let's wait to turn the camera on. Hello, hi there.
Hello, welcome to the 125th,
The 12th episode.
125th episode of Drunk Doctor Who. We're talking about the 125th story of Doctor Who.
It's our
Snakedance.
centennial and a quarter special. The Snakedance.
Snakedance. All right. Hi, I'm Hatter. This is Holden.
Hello.
I'm drinking Magma Flame. What are you drinking?
I got up too soon to add the bill. I'm drinking White Claws.
Yay, White Claw.
Natural wine.
There you go. Magma Flame. Good stuff.
That's root to that one.
Cinnamon whiskey. All right.
All spelled over.
We do have a guest.
couch.
We do have a guest. All right.
I'm that drunk.
Oh, you're
White
adding them.
Claws.
Okay, yeah. So, the bad guy in this serial was the Mara, which means the Mara has recurred, which means we do them as a villain eventually, which is what he was writing up on the other whiteboard.
Yeah, I'll just real quick add it subtly to this one. There we go.
Okay.
Guess who it is? They're back.
The Mara. All right. So
means
this
I
is
get
the 24th of July of 2023.
Two
We had 4 episodes, which aired from January 18th of 1983 to January 26th, 1983, when they were still doing the Monday, Tuesday thing.
That's just efficient.
Yeah, our companions were Nissa and Tegan, and of course the antagonist was the Mara.
You're banging out a cereal every 2 weeks.
Yeah, essentially. And occasionally, every 1 week.
Oh,
Well, remember we had the 2-parter, the Black Orchid, yeah.
Oh yeah, that was 2 parts. Well,
No. And there's one coming up, the King's Demons.
King's Demons. Is that after Marn Undeath? Margarine.
Undeath. It's 3 after.
Sorry, Margarine Undeath.
Margarine.
I can't believe it's not margarine.
No, you can't believe it's not butter.
Oh, yeah. Butter Undeath. I'll fix it.
Alright. Anyway, so in the serial, Tegan is once again possessed by the Mara. You've got the Doctor. Nissa isn't even on the cover. You've got Dojin back here, the guy who never says a stinking word.
He's like the Obi-Wan Kenobi, of the wise old man of the desert.
Okay, what's his Hanyak's name?
He didn't say a word, but he thought words.
Yeah.
That's Lon.
Lon.
The
this guy.
Prince of the Federation.
Yeah, he's apparently the Federation is monarchical.
And they had 3 planets?
3 planets, yeah.
How do they, but they don't have, like, space travel?
Well, I'm assuming they do if they have 3 planets.
Ah.
But then the father was off on one of the other planets or something.
Oh, that's why I wasn't there.
Yeah.
Well, they said they didn't have the technology for something, so
No, they believe the other people in the old days didn't have the technology for something.
Oh, because 500 years ago. That makes more sense.
Yeah, or longer, yeah.
Gotcha.
Alright, so anyway, this guy is big in modern British TV as a detective.
Oh, cool.
I forget what he's in, but...
Is he in the new Sherlock Holmes or something?
I hope not. But he plays an arrogant, what's the word? Spoiled, privileged jerk. Really, really well.
He does a great job at it.
Yeah, he's good.
He really sold the.
He really sold the role. Yeah. All right, check it out. That's where the main group is. Oh, 2 doctors.
New Blu-ray come out yet? Or is that next month?
Well, we're gonna get season 20.
Season 20 on Blu-ray? That's the one we're on now, isn't it?
Yeah, we're actually on season 20.
Oh,
maybe we'll and they're going to include the 5 doctors in the season 20 Blu-ray, but we don't have dates for it yet.
Oh, yeah, 5 doctors for the Blu-ray.
But it'll be the 40th anniversary of the 20th anniversary episode.
That's the season, that's the one after next.
Alright. 1, 2,
that's
3,
never
4,
mind.
5.
That's quite
Alright, so next is Maldron Undead, then Terminus, then Enlightenment, then the King's Demons, and then the 5 doctors.
It's a King's Demon, 2 episodes.
Yeah,
Terminus
King's Demons,
sounds
2
cool.
episodes. The 5 doctors is 1 long ass episode. It's like 90 minutes.
Oh, okay. Just 1 episode. Neat.
Hmm?
I think that's the first, 90-minute Doctor Who special I'll be seeing. Because the other special was 2 episodes, right?
Yeah, they divided up the 3 doctors into 4 episodes.
4
yeah.
episodes, yeah.
Yeah, this is just one, I believe it's just one honker right there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. But yeah, we're catching up to the main group. We're only 2 seasons behind.
So we're going to have a 2-episode podcast and then a 90-minute podcast.
We've already done that.
No, I mean, what? Huh?
We've already done that.
Well, we're going to be doing a podcast on a 2-episode serial.
Yeah.
Then we'll be doing
A
a
90
podcast on a 90-minute serial.
Yeah, those may be shorter. Alright. Okay.
It's going to be like a Heroes and Villains.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll have lots to talk about with 5 Doctors.
Okay.
I'm sure the podcast will also be 90 minutes.
5 Doctors is a lot of fun, and there's a lot of people in it.
Nice.
And we've got a lot to talk about that. Okay. Alright, so the Dr. Nissen...
Oh, that reminds me, we were talking about Tom Baker, and he's still alive. He's 80.
Yes, he's
something.
like 87 or something.
Yeah.
He's still alive.
So I asked that question, and the answer was, he's still hanging around. So that prompted the question, obviously. Is he still showing up in serials and specials?
Okay, he showed up in the 50th anniversary.
Yeah, is that the most recent one?
Well, the most recent 10-year anniversary.
10 year of the...
Because the 60th is this year.
Yeah.
It's going to be happening this November.
So we think he's going to be in this one?
No clue.
Ah.
Would love to see him.
Fingers
I honestly, every single big anniversary of Doctor Who would love to see every single still living Doctor in it in some form or fashion.
I agree.
And
even though they don't look the same Doctor.
Correct. But to be fair, Chibnall, in his very final episode, The Power of the Doctor, did a great job of bringing the 20th century Doctors back.
Do they like CGI?
All of them except for Tom Baker. So 5, which we're watching now, 6, 7, and 8, as the keepers of the chasm.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So they're still
right,
doing stuff.
and they worked them in, and it was actually really cool.
Neat.
And the way Tom Baker was worked in by Russell T Davies on the 50th was really, really cool. But no, they did not de-age them, which is a thing now. You can actually computerize de-age people. They left them as their current olderness.
Nice.
Yeah.
They didn't have the budget for all the CGI.
Well, they might now, thanks to the help of Disney.
In Lone Wolf Studios, Sony.
Lone Wolf Studios, yes, owned by Sony. Disney is doing the worldwide outside of the United Kingdom and Ireland distribution of everything.
Neat.
Yeah. Streaming services and all that. All right.
I like your t-shirt. Where'd that come from?
Well, thank you. It's an old Renfair t-shirt. 2002. So this is a 21-year-old t-shirt.
I was thinking it might have been like a Magic the Gathering shirt or something.
No. Texas Renaissance Festival.
Neat.
Yeah, and it's still holding on.
It's hanging on.
Yeah. It's like, all right.
I used to go to these events called LTC, and I'd show up to them wearing like the shirt from 10 years ago. I'm like, it's still here. It's still... There might be a little hole or something somewhere.
Yeah, this t-shirt's old enough to drink alcohol. In fact, I've been to the Ren Fair with people who are younger than my t-shirt at the time. Are you going to come to Ren Fair with us this year?
I don't know. I don't think I can.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe next year.
I'll
have more PTO.
Okay. I'm going to... Looking at next year for Thanksgiving weekend.
Thanksgiving
problem.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Assuming the A&M football schedule is not a home game.
Oh, gotcha.
Because the home games, when you go to the Ren Fair, which is in Navasota, which is right by College Station.
Oh.
When they have a football game at home that weekend, all the traffic's so much more crowded. It's a lot worse.
Okay.
So I always look at the schedule and book around it to book when they have an away game.
I like when you took me to that one football game in New Orleans.
Yeah, same.
And we didn't have to drive, we just took taxis, and I just got to watch the taxi people deal with all the traffic stress, and they're all aggressively just like darting. Or what was it when we were in Vegas and that taxi driver was just like, brr, brr. He's like, come on.
Oh, and that limo was nice.
Yeah, I'm glad he's doing that, not me. Looks like stressful traffic conditions.
So Lissa
imagine driving a limo in that traffic. Ooh, those wide turns.
So Lissa was watching a video earlier with the Kelsey brothers.
Okay.
They're two football players. They're brothers, and their teams met in the Super Bowl last year.
Oh.
So one of them
played against each other.
They played against each other in the Super Bowl.
great.
One of them was going to win, one of them wasn't. So literally, the mother of the two sons, when they did the championship games, watched the one son's championship game and he won. Took a jet, flew to the other one, a private jet, and watched the other championship game.
Yeah, that's a good mama.
Yeah, and she was going to win either way, right? One of them was going to win. But they were watching it earlier, and they were talking about the fans of different stadiums. Who was the worst in hating the Bucks? And the one guy was like, "Yeah, New Orleans is weird." He's like, we'd go there, and the Superdome, the dome is so loud, and all these people coming off the street, drunk already. They get into the Superdome, and they've got their umbrellas, their parasols, and they've got trumpets, and they yell things you can't understand what they say.
I was listening to this one podcast, and this guy was talking about how he and some Americans, they're traveling around going to football games, soccer games, and he's in South America, and their tour guide was like, "Hey, listen, you should not be out after this hour, and it gets really dangerous." And he's like, "Oh no, yeah, I get it. It's like, sports, crazy fans, it gets crazy." And he's like, "No, genuinely, you will die. You get robbed, and you will die." I'm like, that's some crazy fans. He's like, it's not safe out.
Yeah, you should listen to those people when you go to work.
Yeah. They live there. They know what's going on.
Yeah, and the white guys there, they're in trouble. You get targeted. Oh my gosh! All right. So anyway,
tourists, they're an easy target.
Yeah. So the Doctor and Nyssa and Tegan are in the TARDIS.
Episode 1.
Tegan's
still having bad dreams, right? That was the opener. They're hanging out in the control room, the Doctor and
Nyssa.
And she has this awful new outfit.
I actually kind of like the new. It's not as good as her old one. Her old one was better.
It grew on me, but there's just so many colors and it's flashing and the stripes and the book.
Yeah, she's got this sort of 19th century German or Dutch-esque outfit.
Yeah, it's like a Dutch girl's outfit.
Yeah,
and if that Dutch girl also worked at the circus.
And the Doctor doesn't even notice it hardly. Like, something different about you, right? She's like, yeah, and
just like how he treats the companions.
Yeah,
she's just like, yes, Doctor, I'm different.
Yeah.
Like the Doctor regenerates. They're like, you're different. He's like, duh.
Well, to be fair, it's stereotypical for the way women are like.
Oh, men. Yeah,
I got my hair done.
And
the man's like, I don't understand what's different. Anyway. So
they hear the scream from
Tegan. She had a bad dream. Oh, wait. At the very beginning, there's an old skinny guy with a blue crystal and
a snake. What do they call those staves with the serpent?
Staves.
With the serpent, like the covenant symbol, for the hospital. It has the stick and the snake wrapped around it.
Yeah, that's a sign for medicine. I don't know what it's called.
I thought there was a name for it. It's like from the Bible.
There might be a name for it. I don't know what it's called. But it's the common sign for medicine or hospital, yeah.
Because you looked at the snake and you wouldn't die,
Yeah. I don't know what it's called. It probably has a name.
I thought maybe it doesn't, I don't know. But it shows up in enough places where it's like kind of, I feel like it should have a name.
Anyway. Tegan screams, the Doctor and Nyssa run in there. She's talking about a bad dream. The Doctor's like, no, you must remember this dream. And the Doctor whips up a gizmo that will block out all of the sound so that she can concentrate and be hypnotized and go into her dreams.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Why do Time Lords have all this technology like sonic screwdrivers, TARDISes, right, and dream radio wave blockers, but they don't have cell phones? They can't just be like, "Hey Tegan, where are you at?"
Later on they do.
Okay.
But there weren't cell phones at this point. Technically, there were cell phones in the 80s, but they were so rudimentary.
I mean, like,
that
was a thing in science fiction, though. They'd be like, boop, Captain's log, and Stargate. It'd whip out the sci-fi cell phones that didn't exist yet. I just feel like that...
Do you remember the Doctor Hates Computers?
Oh, yeah. But you got me there. But not a sonic screwdriver computer.
No.
Or a dream wave.
To be fair, the sonic screwdriver is a computer. You are absolutely correct.
And
that is acknowledged in the 50th anniversary.
And he does like K9. And he's a...
Loved and loves K9. We'll see K9 again.
I saw this YouTube video about this guy who's like really into sci-fi, like what's the Robinsons? Space Odyssey. And he's like, robots are supposed to be interactive and your friends.
Forbidden Planet?
Forbidden Planet, yeah.
Okay.
He's like, robots were supposed to be our friends and interactive, and now it's all like, just cold and calculated. And so he put these little robotic eyes on his Alexa that can blink and look at you.
That sounds creepy. Yeah. So, have you seen Megan?
That's the one with the vampire, Megan Fox.
No, the little robot girl.
No, I think I've heard of it.
So creepy.
Yeah, it's like there's a little robot girl in this one movie with Hugh Laurie. Tomorrowland. And I love this scene where she's like this animatronic little girl, and she gets thrown out of a car. And then she's just running to catch up with him. They look in the rearview mirror. There's this little 9-year-old girl that's just running after him. It's pretty creepy.
The Megan thing...
then she opens up like a control panel on her stomach.
I haven't seen Tomorrowland.
Oh, that's great.
Although I think I went to Tomorrowland.
It was not...
When I went to Disney, like when I was 40 years ago.
It was a big old flop. It was not well received, but I really liked it. I liked the movie.
Right.
Maybe I just really like Hugh Laurie.
Probably. He's a good British actor.
Oh.
And
I've been watching so much House. I'm on the last season. It's like the greatest episode.
Who's the other guy?
Fry.
Stephen Fry.
Yeah.
Stephen Fry shows up in Doctor Who.
Oh, does he?
Way later.
He
shows up in Spyfall Part 1.
When does Hugh Laurie show up in Doctor Who? Because that's gotta happen, right? No? Don't tell me he doesn't show up.
Not yet.
Oh man, he's getting pretty old now.
Well, Stephen Fry showed up just a couple of years ago.
Oh yeah. I'm surprised. He's doing well for his age.
Still running through my head on Hugh Laurie. I don't think he's in Doctor Who. If he is, can't remember at the moment.
What do you call those little Rotordexes?
Oh, yeah, Rolodex.
Yeah, I can just see that in your brain. You're just like flipping through your Doctor Who.
Flipping through the episodes, flipping through the seasons,
see.
going, no. There's a great guy that I like who was in Whoops Apocalypse. And he shows up in Doctor Who later on. And I was like, oh, I love that.
Oh, he was the really flamboyant guy in the DEF CON meeting, right? Like the whole United Nations were talking about the bomb, and he's the one who's doing the weird stuff.
Wait. You're thinking of Dr. Strangelove?
I'm thinking of something else.
Yeah, Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying About the Bomb. No, I'm talking about Whoops Apocalypse.
Did you not show me that one, or have I seen it?
It's my favorite bad movie.
I don't know if I've seen that one.
With Lacrobat?
I don't think I've seen that one yet. Is it on the list? I think it might be on the list.
Alright, anyway, he's also in How to Get Ahead in Advertising.
Alright, first I gotta find the list.
Anyway, there's a scene where he shows up in Doctor Who, and I'm just like, yeah, I love that guy. I can't remember the actor's name, but he is just so much fun. I do like him in everything I've ever seen him in.
What is it? Something Cook?
Not Peter Cook.
Not Peter Cook.
Although he's also in Whoops Apocalypse. And Peter Cook is also in The Bed Sitting Room.
So there's this one podcast I used to watch, and it's pretty low budget. There's only 2 people. So whenever they Googled something, they referred to it as having their intern look it up or something. They're like, we'll have, Megan look that up for us, and then they just Google it. But we actually have that person. We have Alyssa outside.
Yeah, she knows everything. My wife knows every actor or actress in everything ever. Yeah. Who they're married to, who they were married to, who they dated. She's just amazing at that. Anyway, so the doctor. All right, so Tegan has a nightmare. The doctor gets her to go back into her dreams through hypnosis. She goes into her garden when she's 6. Kind of creepy, actually. And then she goes back further.
Oh, yeah, that was creepy.
Yeah,
She's like, I'm a little girl.
And it's like, I'm in my garden, silly, and help. What?
McMail?
Not Rick Mayall.
Rick Mayall.
Who actually was in Whoops Apocalypse.
Oh.
But he wasn't in, he was not in, How to Get Ahead in Advertising.
Oh, is that who you're looking for?
There we go.
It's the old guy who was in How to Get Ahead in Advertising and in Doctor Who and in, Whoops Apocalypse.
And I don't see Whoops Apocalypse on the list, so I'm adding it now.
Okay, good.
I'm also adding Lady Hawk. That's my movie choice.
Yeah, that's why I'm adding it. I've never seen that movie.
You're talking Richard E. Grant?
Ooh. No, not Richard E. Grant. Although he has been in Doctor Who and... What?
He has been in Doctor Who.
He has been in Doctor Who officially and unofficially.
Richard Wilson?
I don't know the guy's
Neil
name.
Armstrong. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Richard E. Grant was going to be the 9th Doctor, then wasn't the 9th Doctor, and then came back later as the Great Intelligence.
Yeah.
We will see Richard E.
I don't
Grant.
know how much you were wanting to know what the name of this guy was.
Introducing our guest star, Alyssa. Hey, come on down.
No.
Alyssa, come on down. They play the...
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good. Love
Thank you, Alyssa. That's our official podcast fact checker.
My wife.
She's the official Hatter fact checker, I should say.
Adventures of Baron Munchausen.
Oh, yeah.
This is
my
Venus,
wife.
the goddess. My wife.
My wife.
Oh my gosh. Love that movie.
But she wasn't a trophy wife or anything, not that.
You know my ex-wife?
I don't know her, no.
She was obviously a trophy wife.
I don't think I ever met her.
It was also obvious she wasn't first place. Oh my god, such a brutal
I think I've heard
joke.
that one.
It's so brutal. Alright.
She's the Constellation Prize.
Runner up. I don't know if you're out there, but hi.
That would be great.
A comment from my ex-wife, yeah.
She's just sitting there watching the podcast. Man, I messed up. I
messed up marrying him.
Alright.
Anyway.
Episode 1.
So, Tegan has a nightmare. The doctor walks her through the nightmare. They go back. Tegan is talking about
Mind's Garden. You must go deeper.
Right. Deeper. Gotta go further. They go to the snake cave.
There's a lot of sexual tension.
Snake mouth cave.
Yeah, that one.
And apparently Tegan had read some numbers off a star chart and had redirected the doctor to the planet of the Mara.
It reminded me of the Aladdin cave mouth that goes, "Who dare to sleep? That's..." What does he say?
I don't know.
It's the cave mouth that's made out of sand and it makes the lion's head.
Yeah, I've only seen it once, 30 years ago now?
Yeah, I think it came out before I was born, yeah. I think it was 93? Wait.
That's 30 years ago now.
90? Yeah, somewhere around there.
So anyway, the meantime, you've got Lon, the super spoiled
mother. I'm bored.
yeah, son of the Federator, who apparently is a king or an emperor or whatever. And Lon is so bored of everything.
Nothing to amuse me except me being mean to people.
Yeah, like I said, I could see him playing Nero or Caligula. I said that during the watching.
Who did I say Caligula was? Oh, I said he's like a vampire. Caligula sounds like a vampire. Count Caligula.
And I informed you that he was a Roman emperor along with Nero.
I want to suck your taxes. Is what.
Oh, yeah, that sounds like our current president.
That sounds like all of the government.
Anyway, so he's bored, but he's going to go see the caves being presented by Andrel. What's his name?
Yeah, Ambrel.
Ambrel, who's the current director of like archaeology or something. Apparently there's a position for this.
Sworn protector of the Eye of Mara, which is the crystal.
The Great Crystal.
Yeah, the Great Crystal. That thing.
So they go into the caves, they're looking around. The doctor shows up with Tegan and Nissa on the outside. Tegan freaks out. She doesn't want to go in. She's got the headphone in, and she's blocking out all sound because it's a dream inhibitor.
So it's like inhibiting certain frequencies in her mind, which apparently also means she can't hear anymore, and she's getting like this green tinted tunnel vision. So she's just being led around by Lissa, like she has no idea what's going on.
Well, I think the green tinted tunnel vision is the sort of the snake eye.
Yeah. And then but she recognizes the cave mouth from her dream, and that's why she freaks out.
Yeah, she's frightened.
Yeah. So they don't go in. Nissa's sitting there consoling her. So the doctor goes in, but that's a bad move because that is not a publicly accessible cave. Apparently, even though there was no guards. Oh yeah, it was the king's private tour, the prince's private tour. So the doctor gets jumped by the guards, and he starts babbling about, I'm here about Mara. The Mara is when I'm here to help. And they're like, oh, superstitious poppycock, you're a madman. And Lon, since he's of course very bored, he goes, no, it intrigues me. Tell me more, madman.
Look.
At first,
I'm so bored. Remind me. Let me see this. What's happening? You know. He's so imperial. He's so
that's good.
Aristocratic. He plays the part incredibly well.
I'm very posh.
And the actor was like 22 at the time.
Yeah. Think if Macaulay Culkin had a baby with David Bowie, that's what he looks like. Just the jawline and the lips, and he goes, I'm bored.
To be fair, he's not wrong. Alright. So anyway, he's like, let him have his say, let him go, yada yada. In the meantime, Tegan runs off. The doctor had split up from Tegan and Nissa. Tegan runs off. She goes into this
in
marketplace.
Was Nissa chasing her at that point?
Yeah. Tegan goes into the marketplace.
She loses her in the marketplace, right? Because Tegan wandered into this previously established, what do you call it, Hall of Mirrors? There's like this circus performer.
House.
Yeah. So there's a big festival because it's the anniversary of the downfall of Mara. So there's all sorts of entertainers. 500th, yeah. And then there's all sorts of entertainers, and there's this big funhouse
carnival.
Yeah, and the carnival shouter outside. And so she wanders into that when he's on his break, I guess. Or is that later?
No.
Oh, yeah.
At first,
the tent. She passes out.
Faints, and she gets pulled into a tent.
By a soothsayer.
Right, a soothsayer, this lady with this big, fishy, kind of weird costume.
Yeah, and she was so sweet.
She was. She's like, oh, yeah. I can tell the future. Well, I don't actually tell the future. I just kind of wave my hands around and I tell people what they want to hear and yada yada. And she was so nice.
Yeah.
And then,
but when she passed out,
Tegan had taken the headphone thing off. Yeah.
she goes, "Where's my thing?" And she goes, "Oh, it's right here. It fell off when you passed out." And she's about to put it back in, but she's too distracted by what the fortune teller was telling her about
The prognosticator.
making up the the fortunes. So she doesn't put it in time, and that's when
And
the
then
mind meld happens. She starts to lose control to the
and she goes dark.
yeah. She,
Bane noises.
voice.
Bane noises.
and she goes, "Yeah, I just stare into this glass orb. Nothing's actually. I can't actually see anything." And she goes, "Look again.
Look now.
Look now."
And she looks in there, and there's this big, weird jaw thing coming
Snake
down. And,
skeleton head.
yeah, big giant one. And
And then it shatters, and she screams.
yep, end of episode 1.
Great cliffhanger.
Well, of course, yeah,
Did
great
you
cliffhanger.
not love this serial? It's so
It's
much.
a really good series.
It's so much fun.
I think it's better than Kinda by a long shot.
I think it's kind of better
Yeah.
than kind of. So, Tegan still having bad dreams. Since Kinda, why is Tegan always mind controlled in every episode?
It's her job.
That's her only
She
role.
gets
is
mind
to be
control.
the damsel in distress. She's been mind controlled like a dozen times at this point.
Not quite as much. It's hyperbolic, but yeah.
I don't
she's
know.
mind
It's been a
controlled
lot. At least half a dozen times. But every time, I just feel so bad for her because she's so emotionally traumatized when she comes out of it. She's like, it's not real anymore. So it's happening to her again, and you're just like, oh boy, here we go.
Oh my gosh, where did we pick her up?
Where did we pick up Tegan? That airport episode?
Legopolis, right?
That sounds right. Were they at an airport at Legopolis?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The master shrank her
Oh yeah.
aunt down to nothing.
See, she has such a tragic storyline. Nothing but bad things happen to Tegan.
Okay, that part's true.
That's why she won.
Yeah, Legopolis. We pick her up in Legopolis, and
Since she has been a companion, like all she wanted to do was go home because the adventures were so dangerous.
but she was home, and then she.
She got dragged back in by.
No. She thrust herself on the doctor. The doctor was like,
She was dragged back in because her life was put in peril because she was associated with the doctor by happenstance.
No, it was her cousin.
And then that's when she's like, maybe I'm safer with the doctor. She's like, you're stuck with me for a little while. And good thing too, because she was still semi-possessed by Mara.
She was needed to be possessed by Mara for the next story.
That's why she got ridden back in immediately after she left. They're like, oh yeah, Mara episode, let's get her back. They're like, all right, bye. Wait. We need to resign a contract.
So this season's like, what can we bring back from the past? Ooh, Omega.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, the Mara.
Mm-hmm.
Wonder what's next.
The Master came back.
Yeah, the Master came back.
Now I'm just waiting for the Daleks and the Santarans. And the Davison hasn't seen either of those yet, has he? Does Davison have a Dalek episode? Every Doctor has that Dalek episode, right?
No, not every Doctor does.
I think we've already had a Doctor without... Have we had a Doctor without a Dalek episode?
That'd be the third Doctor, if any.
Yeah, did he not have a Dalek episode? He just spent all his time on Earth and running around with UNIT mostly.
I don't think he did.
No, yeah, instead of the Daleks, he had the Santarans, I think. Something in the Cybermen.
And the Autons.
Something replaced the Daleks for him. He never had
And
a
the
Dalek.
Santarans and the Autons.
Yeah, he had everything but the Daleks.
Alright, Modern Undead, Terminus, Enlightenment,
Terminus.
King's Demons. Oh yeah, King's Demons. I think we get the Master.
Ooh, again?
And 5 Doctors, yeah.
Daleks have to be in the 5 Doctors at least.
Yes.
Alright.
There's
Dave-
several different things in the 5 Doctors.
Davison gets his Dalek episode at least, even though it's a special.
Hold on.
At least he gets it with the...
Boom.
I kind of missed the Daleks.
Yep.
It's been a while. What was that?
We'll get there.
Not too terribly long.
March of the Deep. The Awakening footage. Ooh, we get to see the Eternals soon.
Eternals, is that a good one?
No,
Is that
that's the bad guy.
Is that like Marvel Eternals? Because Alyssa loved that one, right?
Kinda like.
I love Alyssa's explanation of Marvel Eternals or whatever. What was that movie called? Eternals, right?
Yeah, there's a movie called
She
Weakness.
saw it because she liked the actor, and I was like, oh, how was it? And she's like, well, it was about 90 minutes of people standing around posing a lot. I'm like, yeah, that's most superhero movies nowadays.
Yeah, it wasn't good. I didn't even see it, and I know it
I
wasn't
heard
good.
it was pretty slow.
Yeah. All right.
So episode 2.
Episode 2.
That's all my questions.
All right. Episode 2.
So the crystal exploded. She screams. Now it gets to
the crystal ball.
Yeah, the crystal ball explodes.
Differentiated from the crystal that the doctor gets.
Not the Mara crystal. So, she's pretty much fully possessed by the Mara. So she walks out, and of course Nissa heard the scream, and then she goes, "Oh, there's Tegan," and she goes up and she's like, "What happened?"
Well, no, and Tegan comes up to her.
Oh,
taps her on the shoulder.
Yeah. And she goes, "Oh, it's hilarious!" She's screaming bloody murder.
She didn't know what was happening, and she was screaming, and she's got that low voice. I don't know if that's her or somebody else, but it's fantastic.
She does it so well. So it sounded like the first time is edited a little bit in post, but like then I felt like it was just her doing it sometimes.
Yeah.
And she's really good at it. Tegan's so good at being possessed. She's like,
I mean, she's had lots of practice.
Yeah, but she sold it so well. She's like, look now. I'm like, that's not Tegan, that's the Mara. But she's like, it was hilarious. She screamed herself to death, and this was like, what's wrong with you?
So the prognosticator is taking out of her tent.
Mm-hmm.
Tegan kind of hides because she's really skinny. She just kind of drops
literally
down,
carrying her out of the tent.
Yeah.
With the crowd.
Well, close.
She's just passed out.
Escorting her.
Yeah. Well, she was unconscious. I think she was horizontal.
No, they were escorting her. She was walking.
Horizontal?
Really?
Yeah.
A handle. What do you want to wager?
Okay. Yeah, a handle.
Okay.
What's half a handle? What's the smaller than a handle one?
A fifth. It's called a fifth.
All right, I'm confident enough to bet a fifth on that she's horizontal and she came out of the tent.
Okay. She was not horizontal. She was escorted out.
I think she was being carried out.
All right.
Oh, it's been so long since we've had a podcast
wager. Yes.
Because I've lost so many in a row, I stopped making them. But this,
dude,
it's been long enough where I feel like
it's a Didic.
I'm confident enough for a
Didic.
fifth.
Okay.
A
Didic.
Oh, with the podcast. It's what? What's Eidetic mean?
It's kind of like a photographic / audiographic memory. Yeah.
Oh, because that's why I always lose. You're Eidetic. I'm idiotic.
Yeah.
That's why I lose.
All right. Anyway, we'll check that later. So she's escorted out, and
carried out.
No, and Tegan drops down. Anyway, she runs off and runs away from Nissa, who's supposed to be finding her and escorting her. She runs into a hall of mirrors, a funhouse.
And just starts laughing.
Right,
Oh.
that Dundell had, right? That's his name, Dundell?
Oh,
the Harker.
Dugdale?
Dugdale.
Something Dale.
Yeah, Dugdale.
Let's call him Dale.
She runs into that and hides.
And she's like talking to herself, to the
Right, she's talking to the Mara in the mirror with the snake mouth on her body with it.
And
head.
And Dale Earnhardt Jr. comes in because he overhears her. And he's like,
Dale.
You're a great performer. We could sell so many tickets if you come in.
You're such a good ventriloquist
in
different octaves. I can't believe it. It's like, dude, you have no idea what's going on. I mean, granted, from his perspective, I see where he was coming from, you know?
And then it cuts away, but I assume that she sells him on this idea of, hey, yeah, let's go petition the king to come see our show. Because he's not possessed yet, but that's what's going on off screen, but it cuts away to something.
Well, no. Okay.
I think it just cuts away too long, right?
Well, no, but she's like, you don't matter. And he goes through all this rigmarole. We should be partners, yada yada yada. And she's like, you don't matter. Only one matters.
There is only Zul.
Yeah. And then it cuts to Lon.
He's
and
lounged
his mother and all
about.
that stuff.
Yeah, his mother's like, come to the event ball and the
Well,
dinner.
No, come to the dinner.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm too bored. And he's just lounging on his couch.
What are you going to do? Just lay here being bored? Yes, I think I shall.
Yeah. So she leaves without him. In comes Dale
She goes to
Earnhardt
dinner,
Jr.
and she's bored as hell at the dinner. What's the guy, Amberlin or whatever?
Ambrose just talking to her about artifacts. She's like,
Can we eat now? La la la. Can we eat now?
So Lon's alone in the room.
Yeah.
And he's very intrigued that Dale Earnhardt Jr. comes in. He's like, "Oh, the circus man! What are you doing?"
Doug
here?"
Dale. Yeah, it's like, oh, the what's he called?
Someone has
The performer or whatever.
Yeah, someone.
And thank you for remembering. They go away. He's like,
he's like, I'm honored you remembered me. He's like, now leave.
Go away. He's like, well, I've been sitting here to summon you. You've been summoned. He's like, really? And he literally leaves because of the most interesting thing that's happened to him all day. He's like, oh, why not? Okay, sure. And then he goes to the fun house to Tegan in front of the mirrors. And he's like, I'm not used to being summoned.
Exactly.
But,
what do you think is going through Lon's head? Because it's played off like he's saying that because he's like, oh, the prince, I'm not used to being summoned. But it felt like he was more like expecting to get laid. He's like, I've never done this before.
The lady's inside waiting for you. I mean,
she goes like this. He's like, I've never done this before. And she goes that, and he goes, oh, of course.
Yeah.
So he goes to like kiss her.
No, there's no sexual tension in
It
this
felt
at all.
very.
No.
There's a lot of tension.
This is old school Doctor Who. There's no sexual tension at all.
It's like family movies. They make the jokes for the children, and then they make the jokes for the adults that the children don't get.
Right, but they didn't.
I feel
do
like
that
there's a children's
quite
subplot and
here,
an adult subplot of like the context that's going on.
No, there's no sexual
And he's like,
tension.
I've never
in
done this before. And she goes like this and goes, oh, of course. And he goes
he's going to kiss her hand.
Yeah.
She puts her hand out, and a gentleman will kiss her hand.
I think he thinks that she's an escort.
No, I don't think he knows what she is or even thinks what she is. I think he's just there because it's like, what the hell? Somebody had the audacity to summon me.
Summon me?
He's like, I'm being summoned? I mean, I think he's just there to see what the heck it is.
It was just something in the line delivery. He seemed like kind of standoffish.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's like if I went to let's say I went to Tom Hanks's house, right?
Okay.
And I said, Tom Hanks, you've been summoned to come to my party, and he goes, what? I mean,
you know what I think?
What?
Tom Hanks would think that you're trying to get him laid. There's still tension there.
I don't think Tom Hanks needs any help.
You are being summoned, Tom, and he's like, you got an escort for me.
Tom Hanks, feel free to come to this podcast anytime. We'll make a seat for you.
Introducing our next guest star, Tom Hanks.
Our only guest star, Tom Hanks. That would be hilarious. I mean, if we ever went viral and got so big that we could actually get guest stars in here.
I wouldn't want Tom Hanks. I'd want
the show,
the doctors
or famous guys. It'd be hilarious,
Yeah, if Loose Cannon could do it, we can. We just got to start producing some content.
That between those two ferns crap,
Yeah.
Oh, anyway. Okay, so he goes there and
he takes her hand.
And he goes, I've apparently been summoned. The only time he's somewhat meek in the whole story. He's like, I've apparently been summoned. And she holds out her hand, and he goes, oh, of course. And he takes her hand to kiss it.
He's really startled when she takes the pancake and she forces it into a waffle.
And and the snake that she has, that was originally in Kinda, on her arm.
Yeah, the same, reflective sticker tattoo that they put on the actors
goes from her to his arm.
Yeah, he goes
and he gets somewhat taken over by the snake, although he retains most of his personality. Unlike her, she's really deep in, but she's been in it longer. Giggity.
For several months since Kenda apparently has been just kind of lying dormant in her brain for a
couple
while.
Hours in this serial, or a couple of days or something.
Bro, I mean, it happened since Kinda.
Yeah,
it was when she was so it's been in there since then. I don't know how long ago that was in the timeline.
Yeah,
and now that she's back to the word. Oh, that's who switched the.
What?
So in the TARDIS, so they first arrive on the planet, The doctor's very upset. Before Tegan screams, he's like, "Why are we here?" Yeah, she's reading off where they are. She's like, "We're here."
This big book that apparently runs off of Earth stuff. Terra, normal.
Yeah, we're in the Grumpus system, and there are these 3 planets, and the Federation, and then he goes, "This is where." He's like, "Why did we come here? You told me the coordinates." He said, "It wasn't me." He's like, "One of you two."
And then he realized it was Tegan.
It was Tegan. Yeah. That makes more sense to me.
I mentioned that earlier in the podcast briefly.
Did you? I wasn't paying attention.
Very briefly. You may have missed it.
So we're back in the TARDIS now with Nyssa and the Doctor, right? And they're playing with the knob. Like he goes to unlock the TARDIS door, or she unlocks the TARDIS door in anticipation. So he goes to unlock it, and he closes the door, and he stands there waiting for the door to open, and then Nyssa opens it again.
Yeah.
Which I love that because like it's his TARDIS, but he's so scatterbrained that his companions like she opens the door
myopically focused.
That's it again.
So and
I forget why they went back to the TARDIS. Oh, they're looking for
see if Tegan had gone back there, right? So he's like, okay, I will go talk to the director, which he had an encounter with already. Mm-hmm. You go look for Tegan in the market, the carnival, and they leave. The doctor goes to talk to this director. She's looking for Tegan at the carnival. Mm-hmm. And, okay, at this juncture, Tegan had gotten the Hawker guy, Dugdale, to go get
the Hawker guy?
The Hawker.
Oh, he's a
Hawker, as in
he harks things. Come see my show. Is that what the
right?
Okay,
right.
Like a town crier, right?
Right. Well, it's more of come into our bar. We have the prettiest ladies. We have the best drinks, the cheapest prices.
A harker's the guy that's twirling the striped umbrella in front of the shop, right?
Just
to draw people in.
Yeah, it's the guy speaking on the street to get people to come into whatever you have.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I'd make an awful harker.
You have to have no shame. That's the key ingredient is no shame.
Like those
which I have no shame.
Middle of the mall merchants. One of my friends called them the real life equivalent of pop-up ads. I was walking in the mall and some dude doing a booth like selling shoe cleaning polish. He pointed at my shoes and he's like, "Your shoes are so dirty, they look awful." I was like, "That's so rude." And he's like, "You need my product."
That's a hawker. Alright, Hawker.
I'm like, "You get a lot of sales doing that?" He's like, "Your shoes suck."
Well, I mean, they're not shoes, though.
No, it wasn't they were actually awful shoes.
Oh, okay.
But I didn't care they were beat up. I'm not buying, like, sneaker polish for 8-year-old sneakers. He's just like, "Your shoes are gross." I'm like, why would you say that?
So mean.
It's like, "You need my product." Like,
so anyway, the Indwelt Tegan sent the Indwelt Lon to go get well, not yet. They're in with the Hawker in the room behind the cavern.
They take their snake tattoo and put it on the wall, and it opens up a secret passage.
Yeah, very, very Harry Potterish.
Which is a great set piece. It's like, it looks real solid, moving parts.
Agreed. Yeah.
I mean, it's two extras just like pulling it apart on the other side, but it looks great.
We don't know, but yeah, it looks great.
I know it was automated, but it's so subtle too. Like, we didn't even notice it. Like, usually when they put sets,
it's pretty obvious.
It's like cardboard. You can see the cutout line.
But this is pretty good.
But this one, it's like, wow, I didn't notice that.
So they go in there, and there's the Hawker guy, Dugdale. Mm-hmm. He's like, "Oh, these are authentic. These are priceless. These are awesome." And apparently, Tegan, Indwelt Tegan, by the Mara, and Lon decide he's expendable.
She's pretty much fully mind controlled at this point. I really love the dialogue, the self dialogue she was having in the mirror house where the Mara was speaking to her and she's kind of talking to herself.
Mara,
she's like, "You're divided among yourself. You join me and you can be united again." And I'm like
she's like, I don't know, and he's like, "Lean on my strength." It's like, no.
It's a great dialogue.
It's a really good serial. And so anyway, they decide that Lon is expendable. They said that
Dugdale.
Dugdale's expendable. And it focuses on them. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. And their eyes go red. Episode 2 ends.
That line is why we added Lady Hawk to the movie list. We also had a great Batman reference.
Well, would that be the look at her, look at me?
This is the Batman one, but that line's also in Lady Hawk where he's like, "Look at her." It's a great
No
line.
clue.
I don't want to spoil it.
That movie came out when I was like
1980. Something.
when I was like 15 years old. Still haven't seen it.
Oh, it's great. It's so 80s, dude. It has like it's this like medieval movie that has electric guitar music. Just because everything in the 80s had to have an electric guitar in it.
Yeah, and synthesizers.
Yeah. So there's this guy riding on horseback, and all of a sudden it's like.
Okay, to be fair, that happens later. That
What
happened
happens?
with what was that one?
Electric guitar and fantasy.
Yeah, no. The movie with what's his name from The Bourne Identity?
I don't know.
Okay, he was in Good Will Hunting.
Yeah, I know the actor, but
Yeah, he was in that movie about the knights, like in 1300s.
Oh, no, A Knight's Tale.
A Knight's Tale, yeah.
That was-
and they're singing, "We Will Rock You."
That was the Joker, not Heath Ledger. Heath Ledger was in that. A Knight's Tale. Yeah, they're singing "We Will Rock You" in the knights jousting.
No, was it? Wait,
Heath Ledger. I'm fully confident that was Heath
I
Ledger.
think you're right. Actually, I think you're right.
From Dr.
Yeah, and
Parnassus.
Right, and they're doing that.
It's a great bit. To be
And
fair,
it's like, what the? Okay,
It was
so
done
that
a
was
lot
a
better
that
than
was a
Knight's
1300s movie with electric guitar and all that.
it's
It
great.
wasn't just consigned to the 80s. I think it was 90s or 2000s.
Yeah, I like the James Bond, the movie that Daniel Craig was in, the Space Cowboys one, or Alien Cowboys. Cowboys and Aliens was what it was
Oh,
called.
yeah, Cowboys and Aliens. That was a weird movie, but I didn't like it.
Yeah, it was fun.
All right,
I haven't finished it. I watched like the first half of the movie, but I have yet to finish it.
all right. Any questions for episode 2?
Episode 2.
Mister, we've got to take 2 hours to do this.
Are we at the end of episode 2?
Yes.
I forget how it ends.
They're about to kill Argyll or whatever his name is.
Why no cell phones?
Their eyes go red and
Oh yeah. They're about to. Yeah. You think Dugdale's about to die? Spoiler: he doesn't. He just gets possessed.
Mhm.
I think what they're implying was he's no longer useful as an independent mind. Like he has to join our.
Right, he does go fairly mindless. He looks and sounds lobotomized.
So during this dialogue, they exposition the whole plot of Mara is the physical body has been destroyed and she's been existing purely in her consciousness, and she needs the stone they call it to reoccur. She's a consciousness that once she has the power, she can literally think her physical body back into existence.
No. Other people can think their physical body into existence.
Because it's something about crystals and mind frequencies. So I thought that was a really cool plot. And then they're about to kill Dugdale. End of episode 2. Yeah, that's all my questions. So episode 3 opens.
Dugdale lives.
He's not.
He's not a self.
He is fully
He's like a lobotomized former version of himself.
We don't find that out until later when they go back to the chamber with someone else. So in the meantime, Lon he ditches Tegan and Dugdale in the temple.
I was like,
and he goes back to.
I know where the Great Stone is because Tegan's all worried about the Great Stone. He's like, well, more accurately, I know the person who knows where the Great Stone is.
And so Lon marches back into his posh palace, and he's hiding this artifact that he took with him to bribe Ambril. And his mother notices it. She's like, "Let me see you." And he put on the falconer gloves to hide the snake tattoo.
Oh my gosh!
And he's holding his hand behind the back. She's like, "What are you hiding?"
Well, it's to hide the mark of the Mara.
The
snake
tattoo
on their arm.
The shiny sticker that they put on his forearm. And she goes, "Where are you hiding?" And he goes, "Oh, it's just a cheap replica." And she's like, "I didn't know you were interested in this." Because earlier when Ambril tried to give him like a statue from 500 years ago. He could not disrespect it anymore. He's like,
tosses it.
He goes, is it valuable? And he goes, priceless. And he goes, okay, here you go. And he goes, oh. He's like, oh, I'm just kidding. And then he actually throws it. So he comes back with what he's saying is a replica. She's like, I thought you weren't interested in stuff. He's like, it caught my eye. Why are you so nagging on me, mother? Blah, blah, blah. And
I will not have you asking questions. Yeah.
Just as rude as you can be to your mother. And he marches off to Ambrose's office. And Ambrose's there, and Ambrose's arguing with his assistant, Chella, who's still subscribed to the legends that Mara may return, but not openly. He's very closeted. He's not superstitious. He's semi-stitious. But so Ambrose and him are arguing, and did we talk about? Okay, so in marches Lon, and he has this artifact, and he goes, "Take a look at this," and he goes, "Where did you find this? He's like, "Is it valuable?" He goes, "Oh, priceless." And
it's a singular. He's like, "Oh, really? There were lots of them scattered about." He's like,
he said, "Lots? How many's lots? How many? Did you count them?" He's like,
"Many? How many?" And this guy really, really, really wants to find these things.
Yeah.
And so Lon's like, "Well, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to put the actual great eye or great crystal."
He does this whole thing, and he I think does he ask then or later? He takes him to the cave, to ride him first. He blindfolds him.
Yeah, he blindfolds him, leads him into the cave where all the artifacts are, and he's like,
"Look, creepy scene." He's pretty much on his hands and knees, going like, "Oh my gosh, these artifacts!" And then it pans up, and you just see Tegan's lower body just standing there, and then he notices it when you notice it, and he goes, "Ah!" Great scene. And then
he notices Dugdale first.
Oh, okay, it is Dugdale, yeah.
Alright, and then he's like, "Hey," and he's like, "Okay,
who are these?"
Lon's like, "You can discover these if you want, but I want you to put the crystal into the place, the great crystal, the great eye. I want you to do that for me." And he wants to do it because he'll bring back the Mara. The guy's like, "Wait, that's against my office." He's like, "Yeah, but you could have found all this." And he finally convinces it by smashing several pieces of these ancient artifacts. In the process,
it's really,
I mean,
like waterboarding him. He's breaking them over his head, going, "You will do this." He's like, "It's forbidden." Smash. Now you'll do it. He goes, "Please don't bring
You will know you'll never ever see these again. You held them once, you saw them once, and they will be forbidden from you." He's like, "Okay,
I'll do it." So there's also a scene before Lon came and took him out where the doctor at this point has pretty much given up on finding Tegan, and now he's just mostly concerned with the greatest threat of Mara, which is kind of to do with finding Tegan, but he can't find Tegan. So now he's wanting to learn more about the legend of the reoccurrence of Mara. So he goes to Ambril's office, and this was just before, the whole Lon scene, because he's still, this is what started the whole conversation between Ambril and Chala about the legends.
Right, but the doctor gets taken away, put in the cell.
But there's beforehand there's this artifact with 4 heads on it. This headdress with 4 heads. The 5 heads of what is it?
5 heads, but it's called the 6 heads. Of
5
disillusion.
heads. Six heads of disillusion, and he goes and he uses it as evidence to discredit the legend. He goes like, "Look, it's called the 6 heads of delusion. There's only 5 of them. They can't even get their legends right." He's like, "Put it on." He goes, "What? No." He's like, "Humor me. I want to show you something." He's like, "Okay, if it'll make you go away," and he puts it on. And he's like, "There's the number 6."
Yeah. And I was like, "Wait,
you're
count
the
these
6
for me?
heads.
1, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah.
And +1 makes 6. He goes, "You are the 6th head."
And he's like, "Get out! Get out! Get out!"
He's not happy with that.
Yeah, he's not being happy with being shown up like that. So anyway, the doctor gets put in a cell. Nissa comes and finds him. She eventually gets caught and put in the cell with him.
Once Lon took Ambril away, and then came back. Chala. Yeah, okay, so she tried to steal the key to break the doctor out. She got caught, so she's now in prison.
By the mother.
Yeah, and they're in there for the whole episode, I think. Huh?
Pretty much. What's the mother's name?
Oh. I don't know.
Jeez.
I never got it.
Alright, sorry.
Of everyone but the mother's name.
Okay.
I think her name was Mother. Or Queen or something.
Federator was the title for the king.
Mhm.
So, I mean, I don't know if she has a title or not. But she's called my lady all the time.
You know what I think of when I hear Federator?
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember which show it was. It's like Cartoon Network. It's Cartoon Network. And one of the popular cartoon producers for Cartoon Network shows, were called Frederator. So every time they say Federator, I hear the sound call. You know, whenever the credits in, they have the sign-off sound. It's just a little voice. There's a little clay robot and the little voice that goes, Frederator!
That's a thing?
Yeah, the little sign-offs on TV shows.
Okay.
It's an animator's thing. So an animation studio will make a little sign-off card to put on the post-credits scene, and it's just a little thing that they animate, and it says the name of the studio
Okay.
as their credit. Yeah, so
Like Bad Robot.
yeah, or something. I'm assuming. I don't know what that is, but yeah. The credits in.
There's a little animated robot. Bad Robot.
Yeah, that's like an animator's credit. Yeah. So there was a company called Frederator. So every time they said Federator, I just heard Frederator.
Okay. Alright, anyway, so eventually Lon shows up wanting the Great Crystal to be put back in so they can summon the Mara. His mother rejects this and reacts. But the director,
Ambrel actually goes.
Ambrel, is about it because he wants
Legends.
to be given the credit of finding all those artifacts. He's like, I can't, but these artifacts, okay, I can. Cyril, what is his name?
Ambrel? Oh, Chala?
Chala's like, it's forbidden, and we're like, nah, we're gonna do it. So
he's all about tradition until it comes to his career. And he's like, forget tradition.
He wants to advance and put his name in. Oh, I found these artifacts. Ooh.
My legacy.
My legacy. Yeah. Screw legacy. Alright. So he
It's an okay park.
Uh-huh.
Legacy Park. You don't like Legacy Park?
I don't like what?
Legacy Park? He said screw Legacy.
Legacy Park.
I think that's a park. Is that not a park?
I have no idea.
I was being sarcastic.
Oh. Well, I don't get sarcasm.
About the Legacy. Never mind.
So,
I intentionally misinterpreted it.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, Chela decides, hey, maybe this doctor knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Because all this was bad. He grabs the key, he goes and he lets the doctor and Nissa out of their cell.
Davidson's like, what changed your mind? And he goes, no time.
No time. We'll talk later.
I'll just show you what changed my mind.
They run out and they're trying to get away and they get caught. End of episode 3.
So there's...
Right.
I really like the
Questions
outfits
for episode 3.
of the guards. It feels very sci-fi yet unadvanced. It's like the costumes on, like, you know, the Jabba the Hutt's guards would wear with the helmet and the weird patterns and the loincloth. Yeah. So they pull out their swords and they're cornering the doctor.
It's not guns, they're swords.
And the doctor goes, oh, well, he caught us. And Lon's like, now kill them. He goes, what?
He's like, we give up. He's like, Lon's like you got a choice.
Yeah. He said, and then the mother comes up to save the day. She goes, absolutely not. You're not executing these people. And then Lon's like, oh no, now I have to convince my mother too. So he marches them into the room and he goes, of course they're trying to kill me, and that's why I was having them put to death. And she goes, well, they're not trying to kill you. And he's like, oh yeah, well, Chella just stole the key to break him out of the jail because he's superstitious about this crystal that I'm trying to take a look at for like the ceremony. And she goes, okay, maybe they are trying to kill you.
So, Ambril brings out the crystal, and Lon's like, let's be magnanimous. Let's just show it to him.
The mom was like, okay, don't kill him. And then she's like, all right.
shows it, and the doctor's like, now! And he throws his guard down. Everybody throws their guard down. And the doctor, Nissa, and what's his name? Cello, all run out, and they get the heck out of there.
It's always the villain's hubris. He's like, I just have to show off, or rub it in their face before we. Let me tell you my plan, Mr. Bond. Before, and then that's of course they're always distracted.
To talk?
And that's how they
I expect you to die. Yeah.
That's a good Bond.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly
all he needed to do was turn up the speed of the laser a little bit.
Yeah,
so going a little too slow.
So the Doctor, Nissa, and Cello,
they sneak out.
They get away. In the meantime, the ceremony's happening, and the snake's going to the snake mouth cave, and they're starting this whole bit. And the Doctor, Nissa, and Chala
they're approached by the guy with the maraca wearing the devil mask.
Well, yeah, first, and it's like, well, you gotta pay him a coin.
Oh, it's a tradition. You've been touched by the attending devil.
May the snake tooth never touch you, and all that.
Lots of tradition.
Yeah.
And then they run out to the desert to go find
So the Doctor thinks into the crystal, and that
the one that Chala gave him, yeah.
Right, and that crystal summons, what's his name?
It makes a psychic link with the Doctor and Dojin, who was the previous guy in Ambril's position.
Right,
but he was less
director.
Practical. He believed in the legends. Because
right. So Dojin shows up. The Doctor and Dojin have this weird mental conversation. Once they each get bitten by a snake.
They basically sit down, smoke some peace pipe, and have a trip together.
It's a snake. They get bitten by a snake. And they have a mental conversation, and Doja's like, well, you must find the peace, the place of peace within yourself. And it's like, okay.
Can you imagine, like, the world's about to end, right? The greatest evil is coming back, and your friend, the smartest guy you know, who's the only person you trust to stop this, is like, he's running around looking for a homeless person, and then he goes, okay, hold on. I gotta sit down and smoke some crack real quick before we... Like, can you imagine how concerned Chala and Nissa were just standing there watching him get bitten by a snake and just trip out on poison?
Okay, to be fair, Nissa trusts the Doctor implicitly. Chala is like, what the hell is going on?
What's going on?
He's like, I don't know. Who is he? Who's her?
He's starting to regret his decision to break him out of jail. He's like, oh no, maybe they are crazy.
But they do the right thing. They run off to the ceremony. At the ceremony, everyone else gets taken in by the Mara. And the Mara's growing and growing and growing. And everyone's taken in by it except the Doctor. The Doctor is focusing, concentrating on his crystal. And both Lon and the Hawker come up, Dugdale, come up to try to attempt to break him of his crystal. They fail. He gets used to concentrating to it. And then he runs up, grabs the great crystal out of its spot in the mouth of the snake. And then the Mara, who is growing, dies and spits out a whole bunch of Slurpee.
Yeah. All the 7-Eleven cherry Slurpees start rolling out of its mouth. As Alyssa said, which was a very accurate description.
Right.
It's very light pink, slushy looking blood, fake blood. Yeah, that doesn't look right. But it looked right on the Capo Raid, 12-inch TVs that they had.
Yeah, 20-inch at best. So, the Mara's dead. The Doctor consoles Tegan.
Because she is dramatized again.
Yeah, she needs therapy.
Once again, she's like,
big time therapy.
Is it gone?
And then they leave, and that's it. End of episode 4.
Next time.
Modern
Undead.
Dead. Alright, do you have any questions for me?
So in episode 3, Mara said that the Great Crystal was imported, right?
Mm-hmm. No, important.
Oh, not imported. Okay.
Yeah, important.
I kept looking for the Made in China stamp on it.
No, important, not important.
I just love that Mara was like, this crystal is imported.
Important. Alright.
So Nissa said the line, if we only had the sonic screwdriver, which means this is, I think, the second or third time they've acknowledged that it's gone.
Yes.
Which means now the people writing the plot who had to write around the sonic screwdriver are now just mentioning the sonic screwdriver as a resolution to add tension by the fact that it's not around anymore. Which is, I mean, I'm not bashing it, I'm saying it's kind of fun. Yeah. So also, the doctor kept saying, I hope we're not too late.
Yes.
And then he would take a minute to do the little traditional bow.
But they did that
and
then
he goes,
Dodgerella.
then he goes, I hope we're not too late. And then Chala's like, are you gonna do the bow? And he goes, oh yes, I'll do the bow. And then they're like moderately walking up to the cave mouth, and he's like, I hope we're not too late. And it's like, there's really not a sense of urgency here.
Well, they had to wait for the guard. They had to wait for the guard.
Oh, yeah. Just very lackluster. It's like the world's ending. Okay, and do the bow, and then I'll waltz over here. And that's all my questions.
Okay. Hooray! Okay, so the 20th season, the season we're literally watching right now, will come out sometime later this year after we've watched it.
Yeah.
And we'll add that to the deal. But we're catching up to the main group. Yeah, well, we're getting there. We're about 2 seasons behind.
Is this the pre to the wraparound over here? Or?
No. Those are serials, reconstructions.
Oh, this is the Yeti.
That I've replaced with the actual official stuff.
Oh, these are the older reconstructions down here.
Well, yeah, the loose cannon stuff that I've replaced with the actual
official animation
stuff. Yeah. Animation, whatever.
Oh, cool. Hey, any Doctor Who news this week?
The 20th.
Not yet. No release date? No release date yet.
No release date. We're waiting on that.
We'll update you next week.
Alright, so sometime in November, we'll have the
5 Doctors?
60th anniversary special.
Oh, the 60th. Yeah. Which hopefully Tom Baker's in. Which I won't know about until another 10 years. Maybe I'll see.
He comes back in the 50th as a curator.
The curator.
The curator.
Cool.
A future version of the Doctor, supposedly.
I always like the curator sci-fi trope, like in Guardians of the Galaxy. I forget his name. The guy that directs all the horror movies, and he had the little black line on his lip. He was the collector. The collector was what he was called. And all he did was have all these artifacts, and like, so they went to him to find an Infinity Stone. He's like, oh, you mean this Infinity Stone?
Okay, don't know him, but...
No. Did you see Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one?
The first one.
That's when they land
the third
on
one, yeah.
the planet, which is really the Titan's head, and they're mining his cerebral fluid out. That's where the collector lived, and that's where Howard the Duck was in the little glass cage. That guy.
Okay. Don't remember all those details.
You remember Howard the Duck, right?
I do. Howard the Duck was such a bad movie in 1986.
And he's back.
But he came back.
He came back.
Better now, voiced by Seth Rogen.
Yeah. He came back just for a second, and then he like really came back with an actual cameo, which was just terrible.
Alright, but we're catching up to the main group. We'll be there soon. And this season will probably come out in the US right after we're done with it.
But until then, we'll see you next time.
See you next week.
Yay! Bye bye. Sing our outro, Hatter. Whoop, 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 whoop. Beep.
Boop.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Boop, 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 boop.